Some say removing posters is like parting with life. Eddie tore it off the wall reluctantly and decided to stow her snowboard despite her reluctance. With a delicate heart, Mum swiftly sensed her son's pain, empathized instantly, and just wanted to warmly encourage him as in childhood. Despite encouraging words lingering in mind, she couldn't say them, instead asking what he wanted and preparing his favorite Langi noodles. Little did she know, as Eddie was about to cook, she suddenly struck gold. The big jump on the poster sparked a brilliant idea to shortcut her way to the Olympic. Furthermore, confidently, she found a brilliant strategy, rushing to London to verify a key rule: athletes ranking first nationally in sport gain direct Olympic entry. Then, she serendipitously stumbled across an explosive news on TV: the British have never touched ski jumping, so the record was blissfully still 0. This sent Eddie soaring with glee, concluding that as long as she nailed even the tiniest result, she'd dash off to Germany at the crack of dawn to become the valiant warrior of the slopes. When Dad heard the news, his scalp tingled with rage. They'd sacrificed their travelling dreams for years for Eddie's Olympic aspirations. Dad promptly swore off funding his son's dreams, but Mum insisted it wasn't right. They should give Eddie another shot. At that moment, Eddie quickly interrupted their squabble, seizing the chance to escape like a bandit, and bolted from home. She barely reached the bus stop from her childhood when Dad, not one to give up, trailed behind, gravely questioning her. "Are you upset? Do you know how tough the road ahead is?" Eddie nodded earnestly, affirming that she understood. Dad was left exasperated. He wanted to guide Eddie away from the pits of life with his experience, but only now realized some pits were just destined to be leaped. As a twist of fate, stepping into Germany, Eddie found herself broke, no cash left for the training fees. Fortunately, the camp's restaurant needed a waiter. Working there filled her stomach and granted free facility access. Eddie was thrilled, eager to start intense training. But seeing the high jump, she realized why Brits avoided it. Only in person could one feel the sheer terror of a 90-meter drop. It was like bungee jumping without a cord. She cautiously tried the 15 jump, expecting it tough, but smoothly landed and thought, not bad. Full of confidence, she immediately set her sights on the 40-meter jump, seated on the run and relishing the swift descent. As she leaped, she felt the stark difference between jumping and flying. The falling sensation panicked her, and she crashed onto the snow. She moved, checked it was just minor injuries. The boss suggested a pro coach. The Norwegian in blue was great. Eddie quickly found the Norwegian coach, pleading for advice, but was scoffed at. Norwegians start at 5 or 6. What makes you think you can? Despite the snub from the Norwegian, Eddie wasn't discouraged. She thought, hey, trying can't hurt. Back she trotted to the 40-meter jump. No one around to guide her. She stumbled repeatedly, searching for answers until she felt ready to spring up. Out of nowhere, the Norwegian coach, Uncle Wolf, coughed loud. Owning a rap as the town drunk, he casually remarked that Eddie wasn't cut out for the sport. Eddie instantly fired back, but soon learned from the boss lady that Uncle Wolf was once a star on the US ski team and had shattered numerous records. However, his wild way squandered talent, getting him booted, igniting Eddie's drive. She grabbed Uncle Wolf, begging for guidance, but he was clueless. How could he fulfill others' dreams? Yet Eddie clung to him like a lifeline. She drifted around Uncle Wolf, not realizing their two-person band of misfits drew attention and mockery, igniting a fire in Wolf's belly. "Hold my watch," he barked at Eddie before throwing a punch, only to have it easily dodged. Just then, the Norwegian coach stood between them. They thought he'd mediate, but he knocked Wolf out. Wolf walked dazed, with Eddie standing firm. Seeing Eddie's determination, Wolf thought she had potential, so he took her to the Norwegian team space for some fun destruction, while sneakily teaching her aerial position. In the end, he even demoed the jump after a drink, with Eddie as his bartender, watching him climb the 90-meter jump. Eddie gasped, "Oh, Lord," while Wolf calmly pulled out a cigarette, as if savoring the moment. Then, Wolf dove from the 90-meter height, and in a flash, his demeanor shifted completely. No longer the dejected janitor, he was now the fearless Wolverine, soaring gracefully through the abyss, flicking away the cigarette. This was the signal of the grand finale. Wolf leaped high from the edge of the slope, embodying the soaring spirit of an eagle. It was a game for the brave. Only the bold could gaze down at a sea of lights. Eddie was left speechless before the spectacle. Never had she witnessed such an electrifying performance. Wolf landed flawlessly, brought to a halt before Eddie. With poise and power, he poured Eddie's drink, exiting amidst cheers, while she lingered, frozen in awe. That night, Eddie finally understood the allure of ski jumping. The very next day, she found herself back on the 40-meter jump. Repeating Wolf's tips in her mind, she boldly leapt. This time, she didn't panic mid-air, landing with certainty. Having soared at 40 meters, she immediately aimed for the 70-meter jump. Telling Wolf jolted him awake, half in disbelief. He warned Eddie that 70 meters was a different beast altogether. One misstep could cost her life. Even for pros, it takes years of training before facing the 70-meter jump, but Eddie didn't have that luxury. Because 70 meters was the Olympic minimum, she brushed off Wolf's protests and bravely marched to the jump. Once there, her heart sank. It's like the 25th floor. Looking down, she saw Wolf below, tiny as an ant. The crowd waited long, impatient as Eddie didn't jump, so they sent someone to coax her back. Nonetheless, Eddie stood firm, fought her fears, planning to ask an adult for a push, but just then, she slipped and down she went. Wolf stood up, eyes wide in panic. Is she insane? And off Eddie zoomed down.